Okay, this is a this is recording to demonstrate how to research probate on the public records. There are two sites we're going to use for probates. That's the home, starting at the home page of Clerk of Courts and the property appraiser's website that tells us about the specific property. So we start over here on the home page. We're going to go to case search. Log in. We agree to behave ourselves, follow the rules. General public, or you can get your own number to log in under special. Now to get the probate, we're going to go to case type. Use this drop down window, and we're looking for probate, so we've got to scroll all the way down to the P's. Just click on probate. Now this gives us the date range. The judge code we don't use, but the date range. We're going to start, now we're going to do the whole month, but generally all we're going to be doing is, it's either be going to do it by the week or preferably by each day. But right now we're going to start with the month. We're going to search from May 3rd to June 2nd. Let's change my mind. Let's move it up to from May 24th, which is a Monday, to June 2nd, so we're not searching as much now. Now that we've set it in, these are the dates we're going to search. We'll search. And this gives us all the cases. We click on the first case. Decedent Roger White, and his address that he's got listed as Coastal Hill Drive, Indian Harbor Beach, which is here in Florida. So now we want to find out if he owns the property that he's, because if they don't own the property, then we'll just go on to the next one. And this is where we're going to search the properties. So since we have the address, we'll search, and we'll search by address. Sometimes we don't have the address and we have to search by name to see if he owns anything. Drop down, search. It says Roger White, so we know he owns this property right here. So this is something that we're going to want. So we'll go back to our results. We know this is the property that we're going to be going after or trying to buy, but what we're trying to find out is who is the petitioner. That's who's asking, for the probate, and it's his son, Roger White Jr., and he lives at this address, and he lives in New York. So we're going to mail to Roger Jr. We're going to mail to this address in New York. They're not really giving us okay, that's complete. So to record this, we've got our spreadsheet. Now this at the top here is just to show you how it goes in. It goes in first name, last name of the people. This is who we're mailing it to. We're mailing it to these addresses, mailing address, first name, last name, mailing address, city, state, zip code. Property address is the subject property, which is the one in Florida. So we'll get started on this one. It gives us a good example. Okay, we know we want Roger. First name Roger. White. You can, if it's quicker for you, you can type it in. Just depends on what you want. here I'm going to add Junior, so it always goes with the last name, so it's Roger White Jr. And then we got his mailing address, which we know his mailing address is in New York. It's not here. So he's at 160 West End Avenue, apartment 3K. New York. City of New York, State of New York, so it's New York, New York. So city is New York. State, New York. Yeah, one line. Next is the zip code. I cut, copy, and paste. If you have a good memory, just remember it and then write it in. So now this is the mailing address. This is what this is where the mailing piece is going. But when it sends it, it's going to be formatted so whether it's a postcard or a letter, it's going to say we're interested in not buying this property. We want him to let know that the property that we're trying to buy from him is this property. So it's going to be a different address. It's going to be the subject address, which is Coastal Hill Drive. So property address is 257 Coastal Hill Drive, Indian Harbor Beach, City, Indian Harbor Beach. We're going to have to expand that out because we don't really want that to. We're either going to have to abbreviate or expand this window. So I'm going to expand the window. I don't like any of that. Try to cut that. Move it into a different window. See if we can get rid of that. Okay, that's better. Indian Harbor Beach. Of course, we know that's Florida. It's just down the street. And the zip there should be 37. Yeah, it's Satellite Beach zip. So now this is pretty much what we've got here, and this one was a good search because we found out that the deceased owned the property. We sent that his son is who we need to be talking to, and we sent it to him in New York. So that's one of many that you have to do. So all you have to do is hit the back button to go to the next. Seen here is Luke Range, Ridgewood Circle, Rockledge. So we're going to, again, that gives us an address. So we don't always get an address, but in this situation we get an address, so we can search by address. We always use this drop-down address. It gives you the accurate information. Chad Hoffmaster, Stephen, I don't believe that's him. All results, we had Luke Ed Staley. He's my attorney sometimes in Merritt Island. But this is a good example for we're going to check him, and he doesn't own that property. We can run his name just to double check and see if he does own any property in our county. So this will just to give you an example. We go back to search, and instead of searching site, you may already know this, but in case you don't, you can go up here to owner, we'll paste, and see if he sometimes you can go back here and put a comma in if he does, anything doesn't come up, and nothing's coming up under his name, so I'm going to assume that he doesn't own any property, so we don't have anything to do with this one. So we can just go back to results, and we'll just skip over this and go on to the next one. If you see on my screen here, if you notice there's different colors, that's because you see the two that we've researched for as examples, they're not as bright blue as what is that, magenta or whatever color it is, because I've done some research on my computer. So on your computer, if you go in, you stopped and then you went on a break, or you restarted the next day. If you see these, the difference in colors, that means you've already researched this one, so you're going to come back down to the new number, and you just repeat. It's rinse and repeat. Just keep, you're looking for the decedent, his name, address, and is this address in property that he owns. So you're just going to, it's just rinse and repeat each one again. We got an address, we're going to paste it in there and see unit number 120, see if he owns it. And it looks like Thomas and Jacqueline. And so when I have this, it looks maybe his husband and wife. You see down here he's got all the homesteads, so that tells me it's a husband and wife. So I'm going to go back and look and see if, who's the petitioner. And it looks like Anita is the petitioner, and she's in Alabama, so we're going to go ahead and send her something. In the case where it's a wife, sometimes you'll see it's a wife. Like if his wife is the person that's still living in the house, then I won't send the wife. That's you don't want to send the widow a letter, so we'll just skip over it if we're not going to mail to the wife. But in this case, Thomas Wason, let's double check and see if that's, so this is not, so he doesn't own this property right here. So again, we can check, or we can just go on to the next one, rinse and repeat, but we'll check him by name. Generally, we'll search down here, but just as an example, we'll check his name again to see if he owns something. He doesn't own it. So he's not showing up as generally owning anything in Brevard County. So if he did, we'd get that drop-down window, so we'd know he owned something in Brevard County. So in that situation, we're just going to go on, rinse and repeat, and go on to the next one. So it's just that simple. You just continue to repeat until you click on these until you've gone down to the end. When you've gone down to the end, then at that time the spreadsheet should be full of names and addresses. You got, Roger, this is an example, we've only got one, but as you go through, you should have, quite a few. So, having said that, that's the end of this video, and just look forward for other videos.